It's your drive home on Hot 103. Folks, looks like that storm is headed right for us. Gonna put some gas in my Furman generator, stop by the ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, and of course, watch Mike's weather page. Y'all stay safe out there. Tropics rage, you'll always have a friend here. Mike's weather page, Mike's weather page, Mike's weather page, Mike's weather page. Independent, he'll keep you safe, he'll keep it locked. Mike's weather page.
Good morning. Haven't used that video in a while. That was one of our originals from Andy Simmons. I love that one. He wrote us like 8 songs. 7 originals. Try to play some more for you. All right, good morning. What's up? I'm back home, Louie. Hope everybody's doing great. It's Thursday. We got tropics to talk about. That African wave is now being marked by the N8C. It's going to take 7 days to even get close to the Eastern Caribbean. These little guys take forever. So that'll give us something to talk about, at least for the next week, right? It was a long day yesterday. Good morning, everybody. I ended up heading up to Georgia. Went to Tifton. And it was quite the experience, let me tell you. We're going to talk a few minutes before we get rolling into the tropics. I'd like to welcome everybody. This is our Daily Brew, of course, brought to you by our great friends at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, family-owned and operated since 1936. How many of y'all were born in 1936 or before? That's a long time ago. Family-owned and operated. Can you believe it? Passed by a few ABCs yesterday, driving towards Georgia. Actually, I stopped and get gas at Newberry, and there's one right there at the Newberry exit. I was like, I feel like I'm at home, Louie. Tomorrow's the weekend. TGIF tomorrow, so we'll be talking a lot about that, getting your party on. Let's talk about our little trip yesterday, then we'll get right into the tropics. So I had two people roll their eyes at me. One was Shelly, one was my wife. I said, I'm going to go to Georgia. No, three women rolled their eyes at me yesterday, my mom included. I went to have some coffee with mom. And she said, what are you going to do today? I said, I'm going to Georgia. She's like, what? So I got stuck between two tornadoes. We had a tornado warned cell to the east of me, to the west of me, and it was a pretty hairy about hour. I think I streamed most of it. Totally confused. I lost complete sense of direction. That's one thing I got to do better, man. All the maps and all the compasses, man. I was getting lost with direction. So I'm gonna put a map up with a compass because I got disorientated a couple of times. Had to do some U-turns. Got caught in a really big hailstorm. If you were watching live, you heard it. It was loud. I mean, the loudest banging on my truck ever. Florida hail did not compare to Georgia hail. There was some pretty big hail. I don't know if I got any dents. I didn't look. I got home at midnight, so I haven't looked yet. I don't know. I didn't break a window, so. Yeah, there was debris down. I got a screenshot of where I was at. As a matter of fact, I can show you. I was actually right under the warned cell. It was a little hairy. I didn't want to be that close, but there's the screenshot. If you can see the little dot, that little dot right there, that blue dot's me. See me? And there it was. So I was close. I don't know if it touched down or not, but there was a lot of debris on the ground. I needed a co-pilot. Shelly wants to be my co-pilot, so it was interesting. A lot of storms. I'll tell you the most interesting thing about yesterday was how the storm migrated south. Not in the forecast. Well, it was in the forecast, actually. The HRR shared it, and I shared it. But that storm line, storms are attracted to heat. And it started migrating south once it soaked up all that energy. And it went through the state, Florida, pretty good. It went down in the peninsula pretty deep. I bet you some folks in Gainesville, anybody from Gainesville, did it get pretty rocky last night? I know Jacksonville had a tornado warning. And we had the same pattern today. We'll get into all that here in a little bit. We're going to talk tropics. That's what most people come here for. Fred, that's a great question, man. I'll get into that here in a second. Oh, my boy, he's sleepy. He's mad. Julie just took Hunter. Hunter's getting his skin checked out. The doctor wanted a 2-week follow-up, and he is so sad. He lost his brother. He's like, where do you go? He's like looking all around. He was whining. Where's Hunter? He'll be home in a little bit. Okay, don't worry. All right. So, yeah, it was an adventure yesterday. It was a 12-hour turnaround. I got home by midnight, and it wasn't that bad a deal. So same today. They're already under tornado watch up north in the upper Gulf. So, unfortunately, we got a couple days of this, man. Unbelievable, right? It got down to Pasco and dissipated. Who said that? Kenneth? Yeah, man. It was incredible, man. And it was an unbelievable amount of rain and lightning. All from a stalled warm Gulf or a warm front. And that jet stream has just brought all kinds of instability. So let's say hi to a few folks. Maggie says it just stopped right north of Pasco. Kristen. Well, if I told Shelly this, we're taking the camper to the softball field this weekend, and now we have something to talk about. If I took a trip to the Gulf Coast Jam in Panama City, guess what? We had Arlene. It never fails. But now I have a mobile set up, so I'm not stopping. Good morning, Miss Wendy. What's up, Mr. Tom? Eric, the race finally won. Yep. What's up, Judy Davis from Sebring? It gets hot down there. Jess from Bushnell. What's up? Kevin from Claremont. Gainesville was bad, Mark Story says. I believe it. Lots of lightning, nothing too crazy. Yeah, it's wild, man. Weather is wild. Weather's wild. I just posted something. All right, so here, let's get into this real quick. I don't want to lose everybody. Don't forget we're streaming live. Facebook, YouTube. YouTube doing really good here. Let's make sure it's working. Big thanks to our YouTube sponsor, All Dry Professional Restoration Cleanup. Big fans of our page. They help a lot of folks in storms all around the country. And we have a really good growth here on our YouTube. It looks like we're streaming live. So hello, everybody on YouTube. Welcome. All right, let's talk tropics. This little guy. So let's look at Africa. Let's take a look. Let's look at it live. We saw it yesterday, popping off the coast. This is Weather Nerds. We're going to talk about local weather here, but here is that general area off of Africa. Been a lot of juice off of Africa lately, and that's the big question mark. We don't get these in June. Very, 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 very rare. Very rare. This is the spot is expected to tighten up. Models have been showing it. We talked about it. We went back in our Brew crew. Thank you all Brew crew members, all our subscribers to the page. But I looked back today, did a post on it on June 11th is when we first started talking about this possibility. And there it is. So the individual models, NHC marking it. Let's show you that 20%. Remember, about the 21st, 22nd is where it's going to be right there. So if you got, I know we got a lot of people watching the Virgin Islands and the Lesser Antilles down there, Barbados area, all that Eastern Caribbean. It would not be there until later next week, same time next week, Thursday, Friday. So you got a whole week to watch this thing. And then what does it do? Does it curve? Does it do that? Does it do that? Does it fizzle? There's wind shear down there. We'll show you all that. The latest ensemble plot. Let's just pull this up since we'll keep it in a good theme here. Since we have a very unscripted. Hey, did you hear? I read today. Well, the sad news is Pat Sajak's retiring. But I saw that Ryan Seacrest might be taking his spot. What about that? Hey, Maggie, thanks over there with YouTube World. Cat 5's a supporter. Appreciate that. Shelly will reach out to you. Cat 5's, you get some perks. 80% of you get perks. So I usually mess things up, but we'll always make it right. All right, so here's the latest. All right, so here's your European ensembles. This is on Weather Nerds also. And it just gives you an idea. These are 10-day plots. It gives you an idea where it might go. So main thing to note here is it can go anywhere. Anything this far out. A lot of things dictate recurves this time of year. We don't know this time of year, but it's enough to watch. We got some popping down in the Caribbean. We got some that are riding along all the land there, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico. We got some curving up. So this is something we do in August. We don't do this in June. It's unheard of. I just did another picture that I shared. Let me show you. Did this one right before we went live. This one is here. This is your anomaly maps. And now we did a whole thing this week on anomaly maps. There were 4 years that they're comparing current state of El Nino. And of those 4 years, we looked back at the water temps for the same time frame. So 2015 was the closest year that had the same similar El Nino numbers in the Pacific. And this is what's got everybody totally confused. There's nobody that knows what's going on because we're having El Nino, which typically reduces hurricanes because of wind shear. But all those El Nino years, the water temperatures were normal, if not a little cooler than normal. So white's your average, blue's a little bit below normal, orange is a little bit above normal. But as you can see where we're at in 2023, man, the water is hot. This is the same week time frame, 2015, 2023. They use the same 30-year numbers, 30-year averages. And look, that's this. This has every single forecaster doing this. Because no one knows what El Nino is going to do with warmer waters. All the El Nino years, the waters have been cooler, average, not this year. So, big, watching real time in tropics, that's why we love Mother Nature. I am not a meteorologist, by the way, but everybody loves speculation, and Mother Nature always throws loops, just like yesterday's storm system, right? Originally, it wasn't supposed to come down into Florida, and it came deep into Florida. packing some punch. Hunch punch. From Ms. Newbies. Hunch punch. We got to incorporate that word into our vocabularies. Here's a radar. Let's look at all the models. This is current. So I posted already tornado warning in southeast Alabama. I mean, what is up? This is not yesterday's radar. This is today's radar. And I mean, look at that. The same area that we were in almost yesterday. Severe thunderstorms happening. That's incredible. And we're going to have the same tomorrow. All right. Let's go to Tropical Tidbits. What we do, we love Tropical Tidbits. We start the day out looking at all the models, all the runs. Take a look. We're going to zoom into the tropics here and we'll take a look. Dive right into it. Kenneth brings up a good point. I got a neighbor. He's my good buddy Jack. He's a fire chief. He's like, I got a buddy at work that always says hi to you. And I'm like, well, I only see like 2 or 3 comments at a time, so I don't mean to ignore everybody. Shannon over at YouTube just said something about USF. Hey, we just had the USF here this week. I'm so excited. So, Shannon, have your kiddo watch. They're doing a huge write-up on me since I'm an alumni. But Kenneth brings up a good point. The Gulf is cool, but let me tell you what. Underwater, the Gulf's warm, and I have a feeling that it's going to warm up quick. And how do I know that, Kenneth? Check this out. We have a 7-day running average, which I love this map, on Tropical Tidbits also. A lot of these maps are everywhere. I use Tropical Tidbits because Levi was one of the first to make these readily available to the public, and he supports us, and we support him. So I love to support Tropical Tidbits, if you wonder why I use so much of his stuff. Just because he was one of the first to get maps and spaghetti models publicly available, and he lets me embed them on the page. So that's why we use a lot of his stuff. But this is your 7-day running average of water temperatures, and you can see how the Gulf's starting to warm back up. It doesn't take long. The Gulf has that flow of Gulf Stream moisture, and it's hot, and it pumps in all that warm water, and it's like a bathtub. I'm not going to use that analogy today, but all right. So here's the GFS. I don't even want to start with GFS. I hate the GFS. Anybody that shares and posts a GFS, come back to our page, because I am over the GFS. We started hating on the GFS last year, way before Ian. I think the GFS really messed things up for Ian. In my unprofessional opinion, the GFS skewed the NHC track. It skewed public opinion. It skewed people thinking that the storm was going to be more Panhandle, Big Bend, West Central, not Southwest Florida. But it was wrong all year. They should have just threw it out the window. And it started out the season wrong this year with Phantom Canes. Just for an example, last night, GFS. I saw this shared a bazillion times last night. Why, oh, why, oh, why, oh, why. But here's last night. This is what the GFS showed. The 00Z run, or was it? I can't remember. 000 run. Here's one. Look, hurricane into Florida. Of course, everybody shares it. This morning's run, just tropical juice. So I hate the GFS. But anyway, here is what the Euro, let's look at the CMC, we'll look at all the models. So Euro has slowly been developing this wave. Waters are hot. Let's take a look. Here's the latest. So this is what you're going to look at. Here it is, starting to get going Sunday, Monday. And there you go. Just slow development as it comes across. And, it could be 1,002 millibar. Could be named. This is 22nd. So there you go. 22nd. 1,005. Next name on the list would be, drum roll, I forget, Bertha. Brett. How did I come up with Bertha? Oh, Bertha's will be coming out in 2026. Brett would be the next name. Brett. So maybe Brett. Where's it go after that? Well, 10 days out. Interesting to me. It keeps it going south. So, man, we get a lot of wind shear this time of year. That far out it's just, you cannot predict wind shear that far out. I've learned over the years, wind shear 3 days out is almost unpredictable. And the fact that we're dealing with a June system is unpredictable. So I'm not even going to take a guess. We're just going to watch model trends. Model trends, like I said, we started talking about this on June 11th, that it looked like we were going to see our first wave, and it still looks like it. So there you go. Canadian model, the same time frame. There's our little dot, a little weaker, but it's still showing basic energy. Canadian, not the best model anymore, but it verifies when you see it verify with the European. The icon doesn't go out that far. We love the icon, but it's showing low pressure. This is next Thursday, the 22nd. You can see right there. So, and then of course the GFS is showing it too. Might as well show you that. It pulls it north and stops it and turns it and does all, GFS is just terrible. But if you were to say, hey, we got 4 models showing it, so very good consistency that we're going to see probably a developing system. Looking at what it looks like, it looks interesting. If we look at the future infrared on the Euro, you kind of get a good sense that it looks healthy. This is what it could look like as it comes across. That's a blob of moisture, but let's zoom in a little closer since we have a lot of people down there. I don't remember what would be the closest. Might be Central America. Let's see. Caribbean, maybe? Yeah, there we go. So this is what it could look like. Now, that's not a hurricane, but it's a blob. This would be the 22nd. If you're wondering, here's the islands. So that's interesting. Could be next week. We'll see. Models are probably confused too because they've never had data input like this. So we'll see. Watch it in real time. This time of year, though, man, you can see we already got a frontal line. Looks like here, these type, when they approach these frontal lines, they usually curve. So we'll see if this thing gets pulled up and, just too far away to know. We can start looking at things. You could kind of start looking at things, I guess. We could look at upper level 500 millibar steering currents, I guess. I don't feel comfortable going that far out, though. But if we go 10 days, here's our system right here. And, if you look at upper level steering, there's a mid-level low to the north. Kind of weak currents here. There's a high pressure to the west. You would think that it would eventually kind of curve around, maybe get pulled to this. If this high pressure indeed builds this way, then it channels that way because of the high here. So, but it's too far to know. But this is where we start looking at steering mechanism, and I feel comfortable more within a week to start talking about steering currents and stuff like that. So, very interesting. Climatology says that we don't get these very often. This is very fascinating to me. We go to June. Let's say June 11th through the June 20th. There has not been one. Now, this only goes to 15, but it's 1851 to 2015. I don't know if we've had one in the last few years. But overall, this main development region is completely shut down June 11th through June 20th. There's never been one. And then we get into June 21st to June 30th, there's been one. We usually don't start seeing these until July. July, they start popping. So, it's, season's a little early. But back to the water temperatures, which I find very fascinating. Anomaly maps for the week. This is what it looks like. So anomaly maps look at history, And it just tells you on a 30-year average what this is. And you can see most of it's 3, 4, 4, 5. Up here is 5, 6, 7. But, this is just kind of what is the question mark. A degree or two makes a huge difference. And all this is doing is building that water temperature up below the surface, the ocean heat content that we talk a lot about. Comparing this week to, let's say, 2004. 2004 was an El Nino year. And here's the same week in 2004, for example. And the anomaly map shows how cool the waters were in the Atlantic. And even around peak season, 2004, let's go to August, for example. Let's go to into August here. And you can see the water temperatures in 2004 were actually a little bit below normal compared to that 30-year average. And we still had 4 hurricanes in 2004 during an El Nino year. Now, it wasn't a very strong El Nino year, but we still had 4 storms in 2004. Let's look at 18, because that was an El Nino year also. Wasn't as strong, but if we go to August, kind of normal, right? This is 18. Water temperatures never really got too warm, actually, in 18. A little warmer in the Gulf. That definitely probably helped. Intensified Michael. But, fast forward to where we're at now, it's a lot more. So, thing is, the one note that I do want to make on the water temperatures is I saw a few years ago the Atlantic water temperatures were cooler than normal, and that was the big storyline and everything, and boom, they warmed up really quick. So, maybe these will catch up to average. Maybe they're not that big a deal come peak season. Maybe it's a temporary warm up. Again, nobody knows. That's why we love to track and guess. Right? All right. But what's interesting to me is this stuck frontal line that we got here. And the jet stream is just fueling up the storms. So again, if we got to the Virgin Islands, whatnot, one more thing on the tropics. Let's zoom in a little closer for you guys down there. Just kind of what you could expect as we get into the end of next week. There you go. So 21st, maybe some rain bands, but it looks like, the rains are coming toward the end of the week, Thursday, Friday, and it could reach Puerto Rico. Cool things down there because it's hot. So maybe the following weekend it reaches Puerto Rico if it stays on that southerly track. Like I said, some of the models have it going more to the north. We already showed that, but we can zoom in a little more. This is your ensemble 15-day. Let's pull this one up. Here's the latest 15-day on the tracks, and you can kind of see a lot of confusion. The fact that we have 2 goalposts, one going up, one going west, kind of keeps everything in play, right? Not a lot are showing development, but remember yesterday, none of them showed development in blue. Blue is the pressure, and that's a pretty decent storm. So the trend, trends are your friends, they say, and the trends are increasing chances of something tropical trying to develop out there. Tom Baffa, what's up, buddy? He asked a great question. Is the hot water, deeper hot water? So we look at this map here. I got this on the site. This one right here. I have had this on the site from day one, I believe. This guy right there. This is your ocean heat content map. It measures how deep the water goes. And, you know, that's pretty deep. Loop eddies and loop currents can go down, I think I read 3,000 feet. 3,000 feet river currents, or ocean currents, the Gulf Stream. That's just warm water pumping. And you can see the little hot patch here in the Gulf of Mexico. So all that pumps into the Gulf. Like a spigot in your bathtub. Wonder if we got comparisons to other years on here. I thought I saw. This is kind of neat. 6 days ago. Ocean heat content 6 days ago versus now. All it really shows you is, look at the Gulf 6 days ago. Focus on the Gulf here 6 days ago. This is the ocean heat content. And currently, it did get a little warmer. Somewhere I'll find history on what we normally get. But anyway, we don't have it right now. Anyway. Hey, back to the warm water theory. You know, I was thinking about this last night. Talked about it a lot when I was storm chasing. Storms love heat, right? And temperatures were in the upper 90s. Storms definitely use that fuel, heat. Storms really have a hard time reproducing and, reforming when it's 70 degrees and atmosphere is stabilized. So it's almost like the storms last night were attracted to the heat, and then they were drawn to the heat of North Florida. That wasn't originally in the forecast. So there's been a lot of theory about the Gulf Stream and storms that hit that Gulf Stream on the Florida coast, East Coast side, and almost steers storms, right? And I've heard this from enough people that, man, it almost makes sense. Like, storms are attracted to warmth, right? We've seen them ride the loop currents. Hurricane Ida, the loop currents in the Gulf. But so many storms ride that Gulf Stream almost like it finds that warm water and kind of just parks over it, Matthew, ECE, Dorian, and Matt. I think I said Matthew, right? I mean, it just seems like a lot of these storms curve and they just kind of skirt the coast almost and ride that Gulf Stream like the storm finds that warm water and just kind of parks itself over that warm water as it rides around the high pressure, So it's curious about that hot water, and I guess that's what the big question mark is with the fuel that we have in the Atlantic and what could happen. Anyway, so what is cooking? Everybody got storms. Let's talk about what's coming on today. Today. I have once. Matthew has a great question. What's causing the warm water? A lot of it's the winds. I mean, from what I could tell, it's just the lack of winds. Saharan dust seems normal. Normally, I mean, we got a lot of dust out there. There's been years that the dust has acted as a solar blanket. I mean, it's a good question, but, I don't know. I don't really know what's causing it. I guess I'd have to do my homework. Not only anybody knows what's causing it. It's definitely stemming up from the north and coming down. It's got to just be lack of air, just the heat in general building off of Africa and the north that are being driven in. I mean, a couple years ago, we had all the talk was the dust, and it's always thick this time of year. But I don't know if it's any thicker than normal or not. I mean, we still have it. It was bad in Puerto Rico a couple days ago or last week. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I know the cold water and the Gulf was all stemmed from a strong winds that we had wrapped around this gradient high pressure basically. And we talked about South Carolina had one of their coolest Mays ever. East Coast had one of their coolest Mays in history. Shelf water's cool, Gulf's cool. All this funneled in, bringing down cooler air, basically, and that cooler air and stronger winds cooled the ocean, and that's why we had this temporary cool down of the Gulf there last month. I had a lot of winds blowing in from the northeast, and those are kind of slowing down a little bit. But I do want to talk about what's coming because it's deja vu all over again. Like I said, here's current radar. We had some tornado warnings in Alabama. We're still ongoing. And, we have strong storms across southern Georgia again. Today's storm map is almost identical to yesterday's. Let's take a look. Here, we'll zoom in on the southeast region. But there you go. I mean, almost a repeat of what we saw yesterday. There's a little less chance of tornadoes, maybe, but it's dipping almost to where I'm at, dark green. We're going to look at future radar here in a second, but we got the strong flow. It's a little bend here. The jet's bending down just a little bit, so we're getting a little bit more diagonal push here. But yellow. Strong storms again today. That's Thursday. Hail. Got a big hatched area again, including a lot of the Panhandle and lower Alabama and Mississippi. Of course, Texas, Oklahoma, that's a given, right? But this is today's hail outlook. Anything hatched means the probability could be 2 inches or plus. Those are larger supercells. So we could have hail all the way down to, through Tallahassee, close to Gainesville again. That's your hail outlook. Of course, winds and all that. The tornado outlook's a little less, but still 5%. That's why we have a tornado watch up. Tornadoes are possible anywhere in this brown area. And that stretches through Tallahassee, all across the Panhandle today. So big storms again. Tomorrow, look at this. I mean, it's Groundhog's Day, everybody. Look, this is tomorrow's hail outlook. Again, a little bit of shift in the winds, and look at that. Big, cold air aloft. That's the big word I learned this year. I don't want to sound, listen, if I ever sound too professional, I thought aloft, I'm trying to be somebody I'm not, but aloft is the only big word I promise to ever use again. There's a lot of cold air up there. But that's what makes hail. And look at that tomorrow. Hatched area again for tomorrow, Friday. Storm chances tomorrow. Yellow usually means strong storms. And the green's dipping farther south Friday. Isolated thunderstorms. Saturday things are lightening up a little bit. And then Sunday we got another blob of rain. Let's take a look at that. But let's look at future radar. Now, we do have a day 4 outlook already for Sunday. There's our next line of storms for Sunday. Yesterday, we were seeing increased rain Sunday here, so we're going to look at that for Sunday. Let's take a look at future radar right now real quick since we have 48 hours ahead we can look at for the southeast here. Let's just zoom in on the southeast. And just kind of get an idea of how the radar is going to look here throughout the day today. I love the HRR. It was right yesterday. We had that second bubble line that came across down towards the southeast, came through Florida. Here's what it looks like today. There's your storm flow. Early afternoon. I am not driving back up there again. That was a whim. That's a big drive, actually, man. I drove from Tampa all the way to between Macon and Valdosta. I could have went to the Keys. Got some margaritas. So this is early afternoon storms. You can see it. And look, same pattern, man. It's dipping south. That flow inching south throughout the day. So this is throughout the day. More the same. Big storms across the east coast. Florida here starting to erupt south of that line. This is this evening, so we could still see some heavy storms across your east coast of Florida tonight. Now tomorrow, there's another little line. Repeat pattern, man. Look at that. I don't remember. Well, I thought it was Ghostbusters. But was there a scene in Ghostbusters where like a little ghost was waiting for the big ghost, like the big guy left, and here comes the little guy, wait for me, or maybe that was Close Encounters of the Third Kind when that little spaceship was following the big spaceship. It was like, well, anyway, has nothing to do with weather. But we had this last night. We had a secondary line chasing that first line. So this could be overnight rains tonight. All right, then tomorrow, blob number 1,848. That's blob 1,848 of the week. Here it comes tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, man. Look at that. That thing lingers, man. Makes sense. Tomorrow morning, that lingering blob could now be a little bit farther south into Florida tomorrow morning, Friday. And then it inches south. Look at tomorrow afternoon. So that's been the pattern, man, is this thing slowly inching south. And look, now more of Florida gets it tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. Let's look at Sunday rains, because it looked like we had some weekend action for the northern Gulf region to look at. And let's see if that's still on tap. So here is rains today. Makes sense. Tomorrow they're gonna inch a little farther south, a little bit. Saturday, which we just saw, Saturday rains. Here's Sunday. There it is. So still looking like Sunday, upper Gulf region, Mississippi Valley. Sunday. There's your Sunday preset. So there's rains today. Florida West Coast down through the Keys, very little. Very little for Texas today. Very little for Texas tomorrow. That's because of the heat. We didn't even talk about the heat yet. The heat's out of control, man. Here's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Let's look at the heat. We haven't looked at the heat yet. Let's look at that heat coming today. Triple digits for many here. All right, so the heat index today, oh my goodness. All right, so about the same. Here's your heat index. Look at this. So today is Thursday. Unheard of. 120 heat index in spots across Texas, all the way up to Oklahoma. Most of Louisiana is feeling 108, 109, 110 degree heat index. 107 for lower Mississippi across the Gulf. 100 degrees in Pensacola. 100 in Tampa heat index. 102 down in Fort Myers, Naples. 101 for Miami. That's today. That's what helps make these storms pop up. They call them pop-ups because they pop up. Pop-up storms. Flood potential map today, obviously, where these rains are. Flood potential tomorrow. Upper Gulf again. Flood potential for Saturday, a little better, right? Now Sunday we're going to see it back up here again. So, man, it's like deja vu, man. Lightning map. Let's see, a lot of lightning out there. All right, let's leave it on a page here, and then we'll slow down a little bit. So the tropics, let's just open up the tropics map. We'll leave it up here. We'll pull it up right here. There you go. Tropics. All right. So don't forget, we're live every day at 9:19 Eastern. Okay, it's been that way for like 5 years. You don't have to be notified. 9:19. Set your Alexa. I wish it was easier. We'll be live tomorrow, 100%. What's up, Christy? Love from Sebring. I've been there before. I think the only place to eat was like an Applebee's or something. I hope you guys have more restaurants because we went down there at one time looking for restaurants and they didn't have anything. Blob 1848. That's a good whiskey name. Anyway, well, I'll post some questions. Let's chit chat for a few minutes and we'll sign off. I got water in my phone. I hope it dried up. Oh, look at that. I already got 12,000. You got to follow me. I'm addicted to likes. I know these kids.
15th Thursday.
So, Shelly knows my little dilemma here over the years. I was trying to figure out TikTok and YouTube. Well, I figured out TikTok, I think, because I just posted a video and got 14,000 views already. And I'm basically just doing a synopsis with a picture on the top and me on the bottom. And I worked so hard trying different setups, professional setups, recording the 5 o'clock somewhere video. None of that worked. This works, so I got it. I'll do a YouTube video later today too. I'll do one of my 5 o'clock somewhere videos tonight. We'll go over the 12Z models. Remember, models run overnight, and then they run 4 times a day. But for me, the best models are usually 12 hours apart. The 00Z gets fed with good data, and the 12Z also. And 12Zs are usually done running about 4 o'clock with the ensembles from the Euro. So I usually try to do a video every day, 4 to 5 o'clock, and I'll post it, and I'll put it, the Cat 5s that support our page get a text, and the app, if you have our app, I usually send a notification out. I'll probably send a notification out now that we have a new area. So if you have the app, then you should get a notification. In fact, we'll do a little test here. Let me try this real quick here. Let me go to my, let me try this here and see if it works, okay? I'm going to do a push notification. Let's see how many diehards we have that have my app. So one of the things, the reason I charge money for it is it costs a lot of money. The yearly fees are ridiculous, but I do a push notifications, which you have to pay for. But anyway, let's see. All right, so I'm going to say new NHE spot to watch rolling off Africa today at 20%. That's all I'm going to say. Then I'm going to say nearing Lesser Antilles this time next week. That's all I'm going to say. New NHC spot to watch rolling off Africa today at 20%. Nearing Lesser Antilles this time next week. All right. So I am going to hit the button and we are going to send a notification out. And let's see how long it takes for me to get it. Okay. So let me get my phone here. All right, drum roll. Let me close everything out. So and then I'm going to go up here. Let me close out all this junk, moisture. I'm going to turn that all the way up. I got to dry my thing out. All right, here we go. TikTok. Let's see how long it takes. Okay, suspense is killing me. It's usually about 30 seconds before they go out. Watch I not get it. To go on customer service here in a little bit and whine. So I heard Reed Timmer was in the same area I was yesterday. Apparently, he was tracking tornadoes too. So I texted him this morning. Hey, I heard we were in the same spot. That was pretty cool. Let's see here. I just got something. That wasn't it. Sometimes it takes about 30 seconds or so. Did anybody get it yet? Shelly, did you get it yet? I know they have to send it out in batches. So, but yeah, Tom, I see that. Hey, Siri, how do you say your name there? TikTok follower, cool. Eric, everybody weather alert. Kitron says Lake Placid has some good restaurants. Jamie, I know, right? I have this secret desire to chase storms. I don't know why. Well, that was an epic fail. Shelly, did you get it? Oh, he was in our chat yesterday? Shelly, tell me more. I didn't know he was in our chat. Were we actually close together? Did he intercept anything? I didn't even know. I'm still learning the tornado thing. I have no clue what I'm doing. And I do know that when I got to close these tabs. I got so many tabs open on this thing. I didn't. Oh, I just got one on this phone. Okay, cool. We got one. Starting to sound like an idiot. More than I normally am. All right, so I just got my notification. Oh, I just got it on both phones. You should have got it. You get it, Felice. You're going to get it. I just got mine. See, it just came through. Look. Look how technology works. Let me see if I can turn it so you can read it. Why can't I read it? Let's turn the light off. Well, anyway, it's there. There it is. See? I just saw. So the technology is a wonderful thing. Jamie wants to know. I have a weird desire. I want dents. So the funny story is. So let me tell you the story of the vehicles. Message received. Hey, awesome. Y'all got it. Did you see my hail video? Let me show you that real quick. Then I'm going to tell you about my truck story since we're talking about. But it was quite intense. I don't think I videoed the most intense part because I was holding my camera, but I cussed during it a lot. Not during this one. But you can hear it, right? Eventually, you can see it bouncing. They're probably an inch. I stopped and looked at a couple. I should have grabbed one. When you're in the moment, I was mainly trying to get out. I didn't know where to go because the tornado was like close to us. And actually, I should probably go to the live stream part. Let me see if I can find it. I don't remember what part of the video it was, though. That was an hour 30, this one. That was long. Let's see here. I don't rewatch these things. There's a Dollar General. Oh, this is where I start. Every chase begins at Dollar General. Or ends at Dollar General. There's some around here. It's a pretty good stream. I haven't even watched this. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that was all it. That's pretty cool. So I had the radar going. It worked out pretty good. I got to lower my phone, though. It kind of blocks the screen a little bit. Oh, here we go. Here's some of the hail. Let's see if I can. Let's see if I can hear it. Okay. So I got a secondary micro. Okay, you can hear me. That's stupid.
Oh boy, that's better.
All right. So I got an external microphone. And I just got a new sound card.
Albany right now.
All right. Well, anyway, story of the truck, real quick. So, Shelly said she had to turn kids off. Yeah, I said the S word a lot. So the first storm I chased was Delta. Me and Phil flew out to Houston. There was Hurricane Delta, I think, a couple years ago. Rented a Jeep. Had a shirt, Storm Chasers with a Jeep. Thought I was going to buy a Jeep, turn it into a Storm Chaser, but I already had an 18. I already had my Silverado. I already had my truck. I already had the truck that I have now. I had an 18 before I even decided to start storm chasing. So I had the truck already, and I'm like, well, I already got the truck. So, anytime anybody my age, if you grew up loving cars as much as I did, girls, guys, you don't like dents, you don't like dirt, you park a mile away, well, through the years, I've been through 8 storms with my truck now, 3 major hurricanes. My truck's been in 3 major hurricane eye walls, and I have some dents. I do have some dents, and every dent tells a story. So now I'm kind of excited to get a couple dents. I just don't want a broken windshield. And I thought yesterday it was so loud I was going to break a windshield, but thank goodness I did not break a windshield. So the question was, are you worried about a dent? And I actually no. I know Reed loves his car, his Dominator, and I want some dents. I want to tell a story. You can't see the top of my roof, but we were on Interstate 10 during Zeta. I was alone. Was anybody watching the stream during Zeta when the car was going the wrong way in Interstate 10? It scared the hell out of me. But I also got hit by something on Interstate 10, and it was like, bam! What the hell is that? I come home and there's a piece of the roof is like dented. I don't know what hit it. So yeah, whatever. It is what it is. My little. Oh, the last story I got to tell you this. Anybody still watching? So, I took a blanket and a pillow yesterday. And I always take Sarah's blanket because it's little, soft, reminds me of home, right? In case I decide to sleep. And Julie called me yesterday, and she goes, Sarah has something to say to you. I'm like, oh, okay, this is weird. So Sarah gets on the phone, and she goes, where's my blanket? And Julie said she was so mad. She came home from school, or no school. There was no school yesterday. Whatever they were doing yesterday. They did something yesterday. She came home to get on her iPad, and see, I'm an Android guy. I don't know the difference between iPod, iPad. And she couldn't find her blanket, and she got so mad. They were looking for it, and she's like, Daddy! So when I came home at midnight, I gave her the blanket back. She wasn't awake, and then when she woke up, she was so happy. She says, Daddy's back! And then she took her blanket and hugged it. So that was awesome. A good little moment. Katie, our chases are memorable. We need a scrapbook of moments, Shelly. I don't know half of them. You probably know them a lot better than I do. Hunter's home. That's our watchdog. Now everybody, all right, hey, psst, enough. Everybody's dogs are going crazy now. Sorry. Hey, check out this thing I had made up. This is awesome. So that presentation I did for Oldsmar, I thought was a presentation, but I had these made. I love them. Look at it. I did a slide presentation to talk about storm surge in our area. It's a cool little display, huh? They told me I didn't have to, but I made them anyways. I like to be prepared. All right, more questions, then we can go. James says you're just... Everybody's like, what's all that barking? Oh, God, everybody jumped. Oh, I'm sorry. Shelly says she has a list of MWP cruise moments. Oh, God. We can all sit around the bar at Royal Caribbean and talk about our moments. On our 3rd annual MWP cruise. We would love to see you. Let's finish out the show with this graphic up. Pleased to announce that Jason from Furman's coming back. They always are a great sponsor with some swag. Royal Caribbean, love them to death. We got a whole week planned. Kim Shipley is our Julie, our Love Boat cruise director. She makes it so easy to book and 100% customer satisfaction. She's on the ship with us. Meet and greet the first night is so fun. This year we're going to do some raffles. I'm going to have a microphone. We're going to meet everybody. We're going to hand out our swag the first night. They walk around with cocktails. They give you free drinks for an hour. It's so cool. We get to meet everybody, and we'll talk and do some fun stuff. I do a presentation on the ship, which I love doing. We're going to have a lot of question and answers. It's in the morning. It's the highlight of the ship. Shelly does a great job printing up certificates. Everybody gets a certificate that says completion for 2024 hurricane preparedness. So technically it could be a write-off if you're in the industry because it's Education at Sea. That's the name of the company that is our travel agent. It's a win-win, man. Write-off. You learn about hurricanes. And we have other stuff planned too. So a lot of fun. 3rd annual. Check it out. Would love to see you. Hey, last question. Somebody does have a question. Nickel wants to know what's the time frame when a model says 6Z, 12Z. Well, technically, 12Z is around noon Eastern time. That's how I look at it. I do have a cheat sheet on my page here. If you go to spaghettymodels.com, right up here, right here, that little guy right there, this little button, and you can see UTC time conversion. So you click on that. I do this all the time. Trust me, I still haven't figured it out. Your 12Z Zulu time. What am I saying? Did I screw that up? No, 12Z. They come out. Okay. They come out around noontime. I just had a brain fart. I hope that's what you were asking. 12Zs come out around noontime. That's how I look at it. But the actual time, when you see a 12Z timestamp, is in the morning. So if you see a storm cloud says 12Z, it's actually 8 a.m. Eastern. 12Z Zulu, 8 a.m. Eastern. It's so confusing. So when you go to Tropical Tidbits and you click on a model run and you see, let's zoom in here. Let's go Southeast U.S. Let's go to let's go to HRRR just for fun. And if you see your time frame here, let's go to 12Z. All right, so if you go to 12Z Friday, so when you see a timestamp here, valid at 12Z Friday, that's 8 a.m. Eastern. So this model map technically is around 8 a.m. Eastern for tomorrow. But when you see the 12Z Euro run, right now it's at 6Z. The GFS has not run to 12Z. So the 12Z runs technically come out around noontime. The Icon comes out first, CMC, GFS, and then the Euro. So I always relate to 12Z model runs around afternoon. So they have not named the guinea pig yet. If you're waiting to hear that, hopefully by tomorrow. Alex, I think they just use Zulu because it's worldwide. I don't know. I still can't figure out Fahrenheit and Celsius. And grams and ounces. So, all right. So what's coming up today? I'm not going to post here for a little bit. I like to leave the Daily Brew up for a little while. People can watch it. I'll start posting some model runs around noon time. When the 12Z runs come out, and look for a little quickie 5 o'clock somewhere video this afternoon. And deja vu for Upper Gulf the next couple days. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, and we really appreciate it. Don't forget to support our local sponsors, Decks and Docks. Great local sponsor. We saw them this weekend. They just redid the seawalls at Whiskey Joe's. We were at Whiskey Joe's. They have that vinyl style, kind of like a corrugated seawall technology that does amazing during Nicole and Ian. They have a lot of video of seawalls that were using their product and how it did well compared to others, very well. So yeah, if you ever go to Whiskey Joe's and you see the seawall over there here at Upper Tampa Bay, our good friends at Decks and Docks did that, and they support us. We're going to do some fun videos again this year with them. We did an educational one last year talking about docks and seawalls, especially with hurricanes. Such a big part of hurricanes. A lot of y'all that watch have docks, and we did some dock videos on proper ways to prepare your boat, what do's and don'ts with your boat, and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that. All right, we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, 9:19 Eastern. I found out our poor folks up in Central Time Zone have to watch it at 8:19 Eastern. See you guys. Bye-bye.